All right, another sad day in humanity's diary here, but we'll go into the frequency level behind it. All right, so Charlie, Kirk, Dan, crazy murder, and again, some people cheering, some people, really outraged. Like I said in my previous post, you both joined a cult. Right? But let's get into the frequency side of it. Frequency side is that as I read Charlie, because I can read anybody, dead or alive, no matter where they are, the frequency of where they are, proven it tens of thousands of times. I've had 3 near deaths myself. I see what happens on the other side. Okay? The cause level, not the surface level that everybody talks about here. So in that case, when Charlie had enough time to know that he was going to die, okay, he's in rage, he's in outrage. And when that happens, it's crazy. When that happens, you start coming into a time loop. So that rage, that outrage, that he didn't get to live his life the way he should have. It was a wrongful death. And it's happening more and more, by the way, wrongful deaths, like their timelines being truncated before they should. All right, here's the deal. He gets outraged because he doesn't get to see his kids, grow up. He doesn't get to see his wife anymore, and the life and all that. Okay? That's the outrage. Okay, that is frozen in time and space. Okay? So that when it's frozen in time and space, it just becomes recursive. And even in quantum physics, even in quantum computing, they talk about, say, permanence of time, and it distorts the quantum computer. Okay? So there's a lot of balance science behind it. Okay? I just know all this stuff because I've had 3 near-death experiences. I've been on the other side, conscious level, and come back and tell you what's happening at a frequency level. All right, so think of it throughout history. Okay? Here's another component of it that most people don't understand. Time and space is becoming, say, more efficient. What that means is that it can't hold on to your bullshit. It can't hold on to the lies. And this is where, no matter what you do, if you're off, you're going to see you're way off, because again, you are responsible for the distortions that you create. And that's what's happening right now. So you put those two together, time and space becoming less dense. People like Charlie, say, in rage, and they die on the other side in rage. They exist in that space over and over and over again. All right, here's the deal. Those people never move on. They never cross over. They literally stay here. It's a permanence in time and space. So here's the deal. What happens is that think of all the other people who are in that state that have died wrongly and are in rage. Right? People who are in rage. Let me give you some of the say genres that people stay enraged in that reality. People who say died sacrificing, being sacrificed or sacrificing themselves. They wake up to a point it's like, shit, life could have been different. They're enraged. So now you've got millions or maybe even billions coming together because, again, universe, time and space is becoming less dense. So what do molecules do in a chemical reaction, right? They start to say magnetize each other. They come into a bigger and bigger, say, bubble of, say, consciousness. Just like water bubbles, you put them all together, it forms bigger and a bigger and a bigger bubble, right? It doesn't stay like little bubbles all around. So now you've got, say, a huge consciousness, a huge frequency of, say, rage and getting back, righting what's wrong. And I know it sounds crazy, but you'll see this happen. You will see this happen. So whether it's Charlie, whether it's Martin Luther King, whether it's all those people, right, who have died inappropriately, JFK, crazy shit, who have died inappropriately, will come back as a huge consciousness. This is like a tsunami. This is a frequency tsunami that'll wash through this reality. And again, it doesn't matter whether Charlie was right or wrong about his political views. That's bullshit. The deal is that it's the rage frequency, and it's very, very vindictive. So consciousness will use that rage to cleanse out any distortions. Again, it doesn't care about political views. It doesn't care about who's right, who's wrong, and all that bullshit. It just cares about evolving without oppression. That's what we're here for. That's what this is all about. So that rage, that distortion will wash through society in a very short time. Right? Whether, again, you might have not, say, shot Charlie, okay? But that shooter who did shoot Charlie, well, think of it that way. Think of it as, say, a cumulative total, something that had to happen that where society is. Okay? So when some situation happens like that something has to occur to say release pressure. Hitler is another version of it. Simple as that, right? If people go, well, we go back in time and we get rid of Hitler and it would never happen. That's wrong. It's wrong. All these outbursts that you see are literally because this is where the state of humanity is today. And it's a sad state, by the way. Humanity is trying to, say, equalize itself. It releases pressure. You'll get gunmen. No matter how much gun control you put on, it just needs to, say, recalibrate itself. That's what's happening. All right. At a bigger picture, again, you'll see in a few months, you who are cheering for Charlie's death, because that's not evolution. That is not evolution without oppression. Right? That's a base state of why you're here. Evolution without oppression. Okay? You will start to have crazy ass thoughts. You will start to get deranged, right? At very different levels. Right? You are going to be affected by as if you actually murdered Charlie yourself. That's how that works. Right? It's crazy stuff, guys. And you might think I'm crazy, but look at the prophecies. Okay, this is what true karma is about. Right? It's not about, in a previous lifetime, this happened, now therefore I'm paying it. No. Karma is, say, recursive in the same lifetime that you're at. So there's going to be a lot of people who are, say, cheering Charlie. Again, you will get disoriented, you will get anxious, you will get, say, frazzled, you will get scared, you will start to experience where you're always looking out, you're always looking out, thinking that you're going to get killed, somebody's going to attack you, although you're just straight alone. Right? That's the psychosis that people will go through. On the flip side, people who are outraged, you will experience something similar, but in a different way. You will feel like your essence is getting pulled out. You will feel like there's a lack of loss of identity. You will feel worthlessness. Again, either way, it doesn't matter. Right? And it's not because you did anything wrong or you did anything right. It's just a natural occurrence of nature. All right. So in my, I'll just continue on this. So with Charlie, just reading him, super nice guy, outside of his political views, or, again, I don't care either way because they're both wrong. Both political views are wrong. But super nice guy, very friendly. He had his work ethics from, I want to say his grandfather or grandmother. It's just a feminine, very solid frequency there. You work hard. And the way Charlie is that, if sitting behind a computer wasn't his way of working, because back then, these are how generational patterns get passed on, you had to work your fingers to the bone. You had to work your fingers to the bone, 2-3 generations back in Charlie's family. You had to work your fingers to the bone. If you didn't put in a good day's work, you weren't solid, you weren't complete. So the reason why I'm telling you this is that, look, most people nowadays sit behind a computer. They're not sweating their ass off. They're not working their fingers to the bone. They get a little stressed out. They get a little neck ache and so on like that, but not like the olden days, right? So that's where a lot of people today, they they might have a successful career, they might have a successful job, but it's like shit. I'm not doing much. This is where your heritage comes from, and that's where Charlie is. Like I said. So he goes out and tries to reclaim people, to try to help people. And you might think that Charlie is very different than you, especially if you're on the opposing side, right, on Charlie's political views. But Charlie wanted what? A good future for his kids. I think everybody wants that, outside of your political views, right? They want safety, they want security, they want opportunities for humanity, right? The interesting part about that is that both sides want the same thing. So are they arguing about what they want, or are they arguing about how to get it? So whenever you start to argue on how you get it, it is destroyed. Okay, the object that you're trying to achieve, when you achieve it, will become a destructive force. Okay, so note that. So let's take a minute or two. Let's help Charlie awaken, so he can cross over properly. Let's just take a deep breath in. And you can do this with your loved ones that might have crossed over inappropriately or before their time. That's what this is about, because it frees the distortions of those frequencies that are stuck in this realm. All right, so breathe in. Notice about any loved one or Charlie that died before their time. Another breath in. Another breath in. You might actually feel a release. It's not just a mental state. I'm not here to relax you. I'm here to release you from the distortions that you carry, because you're in a society that's not awakened. So notice how that feels for you. You'll start to see things from a different perspective. I highly encourage you, no matter what side of the political arena that you're in, to listen to this. Okay, go back to the roots of why you are, have that political view. Understand the deeper meaning on why you have that political view, okay? And step into that versus all the chaos or the cult states that people are in.